Hey everyone, welcome to this live project where we are going to build a complete gaming brand from scratch using Canva. So, this is not going to be a theory heavy session. We're actually going to create real assets together step by step. By the end of this project, you'll have a fully functional gaming brand kit, social media designs, and even short form video content ready to post. All right, so I'll be guiding you through this entire process, and the goal here is simple to help you learn Canva in the most practical way possible. So instead of just exploring features randomly, we'll work on a structured project so you understand how everything connects. So let's quickly jump into Canva right here. So you can either open Canva on your laptop in a desktop version or a browser. And this is the homepage that you'll see. So if you're new to Canva, think of it as an all-in-one design tool where you can create social media posts, presentations, videos, brand kits, and even animations. So, what makes Canva powerful is that you don't need advanced design skills. Everything is drag and drop. So, just to get familiar, you have to click here on this create option, and then on this pop-up, you can see multiple formats like Instagram. When I click on social media, you can see here, you can see Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, then there's presentations, there's videos, and so on and so forth. So we'll be using a mix of these throughout the project, all right? Okay. Now let's talk about something very important, that is a brand kit. So inside Canva, if you have a look at the left panel, you have to look for this brand option right here and click on it. So to be able to use this feature on Canva, you need to have a full version. So you need to purchase it on a monthly subscription plan. But it's totally worth it, and I can guarantee that it will be very useful if you need to make use of it professionally and personally as well. So I always recommend to purchase the full version so that you can make most of Canva. So once you click on it, you can see all these options. So a brand kit is basically the identity of your brand. It includes colors, fonts, logos, and visual style, all of these things. Brand voice, photos, graphics, ready to use for your brand whenever you need to make any design on Canva for your brand. So instead of choosing random colors and fonts every time, a brand kit keeps everything consistent. For example, if you're creating 10 Instagram posts, they should all look like they belong to the same brand. That's what a brand kit ensures. So we're going to create one from scratch for our gaming brand. Okay, so now let's talk about the project we'll be working on in this entire session. So we're creating a hypothetical gaming brand called Shadow Byte Arena. So this is going to be a modern, slightly futuristic gaming brand. Think of it as competitive esports, dark themes, neon lights, and high energy. So, throughout this project, we'll build everything for Shadow Byte Arena from scratch. So, here's exactly what you'll be creating along with me. So, first, we are going to create a brand kit. So, we'll be defining brand colors right here, brand colors, then like neon purple or electric blue, dark backgrounds. Then typography that fits gaming aesthetics, and that will come under font section, of course. Then logo style and visual direction. That would be, of course, in the logos option. So next step will be designing social media posts. So we'll use the create option right here. We'll be designing Instagram posts, then possibly LinkedIn creatives for announcements. So we can go to social media, then LinkedIn, and here are all the formats present on LinkedIn that you can use, and engaging visuals for gamers. Okay. And finally, short form video content. So in this category, we're going to create a quick gaming promo video. So that can be done with the help of this videos option right here. And something you can actually post as a reel or short. That's what we are going to do with short form video content. So everything will be created inside Canva, no external tools needed at all. Now you might be wondering, why is this important at all, right? So whether you're a content creator, a freelancer, a marketer, or even building your own brand, knowing how to create a complete visual identity is a super valuable skill. Instead of depending on designers for everything, you'll be able to create professional looking content on your own, right? So now that you understand the project and what we are building, so in the next part of this project, I will introduce you to something that is to do with creating the foundation of our brand. So that will be the brand kit for Shadow Byte Arena, where we'll define the colors, fonts, and overall visual style for this brand. All right. So now that we know what we're building and have our project set up, the next step is something most people skip, but it's actually the most important part. So before designing anything, we need to clearly define our brand. And trust me, this is the foundation of your brand. Without this, anything that you create would possibly fall down. So if you jump directly into designing without clarity, your posts will look good individually, but they won't feel connected. So a strong brand makes sure everything like colors, fonts, posts, videos feel consistent and intentional. Sorry. So before we touch any design tools, we're going to build a clear foundation. Let's start with the brand name. For this project, we're already working with Shadow Byte Arena, but I want you to understand how to think of names like this. Gaming brand names usually have a tech or digital feel, for example, Byte in this case, then a competitive or action-oriented word like Arena, and something that adds personality like Shadow. So let's take another example. Nova Play Gaming. Here, Nova gives a futuristic and explosive feel. Play makes it approachable and fun. Gaming makes it clear and direct. So whenever you create a brand name, think, what feeling does this name give instantly? Now let's define the personality of our brand. Ask yourself, if this brand was a person, how would it behave? For our example, Nova Play Gaming, the personality is energetic, futuristic, fast-paced, and slightly edgy. Now let's relate this back to our main project, Shadow Byte Arena. Its personality could be dark and intense, competitive, tech-driven, and elite gamer vibe. So this step is important because your design choices will come from this, right? For example, an energetic brand means bright neon colors. Dark competitive brand means deep blacks with sharp highlights. Those could also include neon highlights. That's how you build your brand and how well it relates to your brand's name. Next, let's define who this brand is for. So, for Nova Play Gaming, the audience could be casual gamers, mobile gamers, younger audience who enjoy fun and fast content. So, all of these things you can note down in your brand voice section. So, whenever you move to your brand voice section, you can describe in detail everything that I've just taught, make notes about your brand over here. So, now for Shadow by Tarina, let's define it more sharply. So it can be competitive gamers, esports enthusiasts, and people who enjoy high performance gaming setups, right? So possibly 16 to 30 age group. The clearer your audience, the easier your design decisions become. Because you're not designing for everyone, you're designing for someone specific. That's why target audience matters a lot, right? Since this is a part of your brand voice, you need not mention your target audience over here. But at the back of your mind, in notes or wherever you're noting down all the things, you need to keep in mind who your target audience is. Okay, now let's bring everything together into a brand mode. So over here is where you can add your brand mode as well. So this is where you define how the brand should feel visually. For Nova Play Gaming, the mood is neon colors, bright gradients, glowing effects, and high energy visuals. Now, for Shadow Bite Arena, think about this. Dark backgrounds like black and deep purple, neon accents like electric blue or violet, sharp glitch style elements, and futuristic topography. Don't worry, you'll find everything you need on Canva. You don't have to Google up everything. You can even open Canva and search for keywords like gaming, esports, neon, futuristic. So let me do that for you. Let me just give you a quick demo. For example, if I'm creating an Instagram post per se, then on this left-hand section where all the things that I need are present, if I go into elements section and I go into the, let's say, for photos, let's say. So let me search for gaming right here. So as you can see, I am getting a lot of options which are based on our theme as well. You can see mostly the images are dark and neon colors, which suits perfectly with our brand Shadow Bite Arena. This one right here, then this. So just scroll through and observe and don't design yet, right? This helps you visualize your brand before creating anything. So I can just maybe maximize this picture for you. As you can see, it looks quite aesthetic and really matches our brand. We're going to create something unique for our brand. So don't worry if you think these pictures are available for everyone and how will our brand remain unique if we choose what everyone else chooses. For that, you can make use of the AI feature present in Canva, about which we will be discussing in the later stages of this live project. And you can give a prompt and create your own pictures and backgrounds and so much more. So now all that I have taught you, take a moment and write down three things for your brand. Think about your own gaming brand. So write three personality traits, your target audience, and two to three visual style keywords. So those visual style keywords can include things like I've just told you, like esports, neon, futuristic, gaming, etc. Okay. So at this stage, we are not designing anything yet, but we've created something equally important, a clear brand concept. We now know what our brand represents, who it is for, and how it should look and feel. This clarity is what will make the next steps much faster and much more professional. Now that we have clearly defined our brand, it's time to start building its visual identity. And the first thing we're going to create is the most important element of any brand, that is the logo. Your logo is the face of your brand, literally. It's what people will recognize instantly, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube thumbnails, or even gaming overlays. So instead of overcomplicating it, we're going to create something clean, bold, and very relevant to our gaming team. So as you can see, I've opened Canva here already for you. So we're going to click on create, and then we're going to search for logo right here. There we go. So I'm going ahead with a square logo format, and you can design it according to your needs. Mostly square is preferred, it works everywhere, but if your client asks for specific dimensions, you can follow that too. You have an option for selecting custom dimensions for your design in the create section. So now instead of designing from scratch, we are going to use this templates option, which is already open here for us. And we're going to search for gaming logo or esports logo. Let's search for it. Gaming logo. All right, all right. You can see a lot of options here, but don't overthink it. Just pick one that feels close to our brand style. We'll customize everything later anyway, right? As you can see, we need neons and we need dark backgrounds, so we can go ahead with this one. It also says esports team. Coincidence, right? All right. Now, choose a template that has a bold icon, as in this one, and a strong typography, just like this, and a centered layout. You can see the icon is present centrally. Click on it to load it on your canvas, just like I did. And now think of this as a starting point, not the final design. So for your ease, you can also duplicate this page from this option, and you can see the difference in the original design and the design you have made tweaks to. Now it's turn to customize this icon according to our brand. So first click on elements right here on this left panel, and then we're going to search for a game controller icon right here. So pick something minimal and modern, not too cartoonish, I would suggest you, and place it in the center or slightly above the text. And then you're going to resize and align it properly. Let me see what we can choose. Of course, we're going to go ahead with graphics. That's preferable in here. Let's choose this. It's neon, it's deep purple. It says a lot about what our brand is right here. So, all right, we are going to delete this. Maybe we can use this border. Sorry about that. Here we go. Just like you can easily align it. Canva helps you align your icons in place with these lines that appear whenever you move any element in your design. Okay. So you can also go ahead with a circular boundary for this game controller. That would look better, I believe. But just for the sake of quickness, I am going ahead with this one for now. So this icon becomes the core visual of our logo. So now let's bring in the gaming vibe. So I'm going to select this icon and change its color if required. So I can change it to neon tones like electric blue, neon purple, or cyan. As you can see, it's already neon purple, so I need not do that. So if you want to make it more dynamic, you can duplicate this icon, slightly offset it, and use blur or glow effects. So all these effects, they come from this edit option right here. When you click on this, you can see all those filters that are available right here. Then these effects, shadows, blur, autofocus, dual tone, so on and so forth. There are so many options that you can use. So you can make use of these options freely. This creates that futuristic neon glow feel that is already present in this icon. That's why Canva is so great, right? You don't have to do much and everything is in place. Now let's update the brand name. So this is the existing text, which I will replace with shadow white. And this is going to be arena. All right, of course, we're going to change everything about this. And now we're going to focus on the font. So we have to choose something that's bold. It's bold, slightly futuristic, which we can see it is, and easy to read. It is easy to read, but we need to make certain tweaks to the layout of the font. So you can search in fonts like Orbitron, Audio Wide, or any textile font inside of Canva. For that purposes, you just need to click here. So you can see this font says Cyber Junkies. So this is pretty suitable for our text, and we are just going to remove this curve effect from here. We've done that, right? This will make it better for our brand. So you have to make sure that the text is properly spaced, alignment is clean, and it feels balanced with the icon. And you can also try making shadow by bold, just like it's already there in here, and arena slightly smaller or spaced out, exactly like how it is present right here, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to adjust the font size as well. Let's see that. Let's make it 150. My bad, 150. I believe this is perfect. And now we are going to place it centrally. And this is our arena right here. Maybe we can increase the font size. Let's try and make it 70. I feel this is better, much better, right? So now let's adjust the background. For a gaming logo, darker backgrounds work best. So you can change the background to black or a deep purple or a dark gradient. In here, black suits the best according to the colors that are present in my icon and font. So this helps the neon color stand out more, as you can see. Always check for contrast. Your logo should be clearly visible even at a small size. You can obviously do so by adjusting the zoom from here, right here, right? Right here. So as we can see, zooming out and looking at our logo, you have to ask yourself, is it readable? Is it balanced? Does it match the brand personality we defined? And then if required, you can make small tweaks to your existing logo. You can adjust spacing, resize elements, align everything neatly, and keep it simple, not overcrowded. As you can see this right here, let's adjust the letter spacing a bit. As you can see, I went to the advanced section, advanced settings option, and I increased the letter spacing so that my text is readable and not cluttered when I zoom out. And now you can read it better. All right, much better than what it was before. So these are the small tweaks that I just mentioned that you need to make to your logo before finalizing it. At this point, you should have your primary logo ready. So why did I name it as primary logo? Because there are several versions of one logo. For example, there's an icon version, favicon, light, dark, monochrome. That's what comes in a brand kit, and everything has been explained well enough in the detailed Canva course that's uploaded on Coursera, which you can look up to. And I would definitely recommend you to go through that course once. So this is the logo we'll use across all our designs. That is social posts, videos, and brand assets moving forward. All right. So as you can see right here, you can compare on what we used and what we made out of it. So for now we don't need this page anymore, and the name of the file is already suitable. You can rename it from here if you require it, and then you go to your home tab, just close it. Don't worry, your design is saved. Now you can add. So instead of choosing anything from outside, this is where you can add your guidelines, upload brand assets. If you have this logo saved anywhere else on your cloud or drive, you can add it here directly. This is an add category option. This is your logo name, rename, delete. So we can name it Shadow Fight Arena logo. That's it. So these are all the categories that you can add, and you can upload your brand assets here. And for that, you can simply download this. You click on share, download. You always use a PNG format for a logo. Keep that in mind. I have explained it in detail in the course of why we choose a certain format for certain kinds of designs. So this is what we choose, and we click on download. So once it gets downloaded in your downloads folder, you can add it to your logos, white arena logo, and I'm just gonna add it on my desktop for ease. And from there, we can go on home and add brand assets, upload those assets right here. And I've selected and uploaded it here. This is how you are going to do it for your brand logo. Now we have it. That's our brand kit and how good it looks now. We've started doing it, and we're going to build it from here further, right? Now that we have created our logo and saved it, the next step is to define the colors of our brand. This is where your brand really starts to feel consistent and recognizable. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is using random colors in every design. But strong brands always stick to a fixed color palette. This ensures that whenever someone sees your content, they instantly recognize it. So instead of guessing colors every time, we're going to define them once and save them inside Canva. So before we pick colors, let's quickly understand the psychology behind them, especially for gaming brands. So for neon purple, It usually stands for futuristic, mysterious, or premium. Electric blue stands for energy, technology, and trust. Black stands for power, intensity, and gives a competitive feel, while white it stands for balance and credibility. So these colors work really well for gaming because they create that high energy digital vibe. So now let's see this happening live in Canva. On this left-hand side panel, I'm going to click on brand again. So here you'll see an option to add your brand colors right here on the top. If you don't see it, you can also access it through styles or theme settings, depending on your Canva version, right? Now let's start adding our colors for Shadow Bite Arena. Let me just remove these. I created them previously for demonstration purposes, but so as to keep this exclusive and not mix it up with anything, I will remove it. All right. So you can click on add a new color from here, and we are going to make this primary right here. I have also explained the significance of using different types of colors like primary, secondary, and accent colors for your brand in the detailed Canva course. So do not forget to look it up. I'm repeatedly saying it because it's very useful. So this is going to be our primary palette. So we're going to add colors like neon purple. Let me search. Since we do not have hex codes, so this hashtag is specified by this code. These are known as hex codes. So we are going to choose a purple color here that is going to feel neonish. So we can make use of this drag button here to make sure we get just the perfect color, or you can even Google the hex codes so that you get the perfect color in the blink of an eye. So just need a very, bright shade of purple to make it look neon. Let's say this is neon purple for now. So we can like we can name this color as neon purple right here. All right. Then we are going to add an electric blue. Let me remove this palette, not to need it anymore. So I'm going to choose bright. All the bright blue colors are right here. So electric blue goes more towards the darker side of blue, something like this. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with colors, so you can always Google for the exact color hex codes. I'm just taking the closest color possible. This is electric blue. All right. Then we are going to add black. Thank God that's simple. Let's just name it black, not black. And lastly, we're going to add white. Let me quickly Google the hex codes for you. text code for neon purple on Canva. So let's go with this right here. Then we're going to just click it here. And this is what we get. Recheck if it's correct. Yes, it is. There we go. So we were close. Not bad. Now let's go for electric blue right here. Let's just see this. Copy paste. Okay, that is an electric blue. You were very wrong here. Now that you have perfect colors, your color kit is ready. You can either manually pick colors just like I did, or paste hex codes if you have them. So I didn't have them. I used Google. So it's always better to take it from a reliable source. Try to choose shades that look good together, not too dull, not too harsh. So once added, you'll see them saved as your brand palette right here. This is your brand logo. This is your brand palette. Superb. Now, here's the advantage. Let's go back to our logo design, right? Just go to home and go to the design that we create. Now, let's select any element. Let's say this boundary right here, like the icon or text, and you can see the brand colors appear automatically here. So these are document colors, but I believe that did not get saved because of some network issues. So we are quickly going to change that over here. Black and white are present. We'll just add others quickly right here so that, all right, this is our electric blue and we need neon purple too. Saved it. So these are the brand colors. All right. Here you can see I've selected this element and now you can see the brand colors appear. Okay, automatically. With one click, you can apply consistent colors across your design. All right. And this saves time and keeps everything visually aligned. So I'll show you how to do that when we move on to designing social media posts for your brand. Now, now that you've learned how to create and choose colors for your brand, take a moment and make sure all four colors are added. They look good together and they match your brand personality, right? At this stage, you now have your brand color palette saved inside Canva. This will be used in every design we create next, from social posts to videos. So make sure you have this intact and saved before we move ahead. Now that we've logged in our brand colors, the next step is defining our brand fonts. This is what will control how all your text looks across all the designs that we're going to create. Fonts are not just about style, they define how your brand communicates. A gaming brand, for example, should not use soft or handwritten fonts. Strictly not. It should feel bold, sharp, and slightly futuristic. Instead of randomly picking fonts every time, we follow something called a font hierarchy. There are three main types under this. Number one is logo font. So this is the font used in your logo that is bold and distinctive. Second is the heading font. This is used for titles and posts, should be strong and eye-catching, right? And lastly comes the body font. So this is used for smaller text and it should be clean and easy to read. This structure keeps your designs organized and professional. Now I've opened here Canva right here, and now we're going to go to this brand option, and then we select the font section. Here you'll see options to set heading font, subheading font, and body font. Right. I can essentially delete this since there's already a title and subtitle. We can rename it. We deleted the current thing. So you can see there's so many categories right here for which you can choose the fonts, starting from title, subtitle, heading, subheading, section, header, body, code, caption. So you can choose font styles for everything. Now, the next step is assigning fonts. Let's assign fonts for Shadow Byte Arena. For heading, we're going to choose something bold and futuristic. You can search for fonts like Orbitron, Audio White, or anything textile available. So let me search for Orbitron. So it's not available, it seems. Let's search for Audio White. Let's, or maybe let's Google it so that we can find out the best ones. Gaming font style on Canva. So you can see all of them here. Let's choose Anurati. So they're very, pretty much weird names. Sorry if I get the pronunciation wrong. Let's just go to the official website. That would be best for authentic responses. Maybe there is something wrong with the font styles, or maybe we need to download it, but I'm sure that these fonts should be present. Let's just try to see if Luciana is present. I think uh, open a random fresh design. Not a video. I just need a static post for now. So I'll go to text, search for font. Let's say, okay, first we need to add a text box. That's not bad. And Here we can search for fonts. Let's type Luciana and Rati. Let's just search for display fonts. That might give us fonts. So I have found gaming in the search option. So what you can do is, if you're not able to find anything on Google, you can simply type gaming in the search bar, and from here you can find various gaming fonts. I believe we can go ahead with this and then see what the font is. It's modular and HQ modular. So now back to our brand fonts heading. So I'm going to write modular here, HK modular. Let's choose HK modular. You can adjust the size and type, if it's heading, subheading, or section header, and so on, according to the posts. All right. Now, for body, we're going to choose something simple and readable. So we are going to go ahead with fonts like Open Sans or Montserrat or Poppins. So let me write Poppins here. Okay. So as you can see, this is not flashy or anything like we've chosen for our heading. This is simple and readable because we need to put our main text here. So it has to be readable, more readable than our heading. Everything should be readable, but this needs to be clear and simple. For logo, we've already used a font in our logo, so try to match or closely align your heading font with that style. As a, let's see, let's just go to our logo, and in here, let's go to home and open this design that we created. And you can see this is Cyber Junkies, this is Cortica. So you can make sure that your brand fonts are somewhat matching to the logo fonts that you've used. So it's okay to be plain with the body, but heading should be aligned, and it appears to be aligned right here. You can see, right? So select each one and assign it inside the brand kit, right? That's what we're going to do. So as we move on to design social media posts, so we will add more sections to the fonts as and when required while doing it. Now the next step is testing the font consistency. Now we go back to any design like the logo or a blank page. So for now I've opened the logo and add some text and switch between the heading, subheading, and body. So right, I'm going to add, you can directly select heading. I've already selected it. I need to delete one of these and simply click on delete. So heading, and this is my body. Of course, everything appears very tiny. You can zoom in your page and adjust the size. I'm grouping it for now. Okay, so now you can see that everything looks pretty consistent instantly. This is a part of not a part of our logo. I just use it for demonstration purposes. And you can go to the colors section in our this thing, and you can choose the text color from your brand kit here. When you go to the text color, you get this brand kit, and then you can choose. You can choose these colors, right? Exactly according to your brand. Great. Now we'll just delete it. We don't want to touch our logo. Okay. At this point, you now have your typography system defined. Your brand fonts are set, and you won't need to rethink font choices every time you design. Now that our brand kit is ready, all the things like logo, colors, fonts, and elements like photos and graphics, it's time to actually start designing the real content. We'll begin with one of the most common and important formats, that is an Instagram announcement post. The goal here is simple: to create a bold, eye-catching post that instantly grabs attention and clearly communicates a message. Now let's go to the homepage of Canva. So here we are going to type Instagram post. So we need a square format. So here we go. So this gives us a square canvas which works perfectly for Instagram. All right. Now let's apply our brand style. So start by setting the background. So we need to choose a dark color, either black or deep purple. I would like to go ahead with black since we can do a lot over that color, but purple would restrict that. We can also go ahead with a subtle gradient color, but very subtle. You don't have to make it look too loud. So these are all the gradients that are available, and you can see there are a lot of gradients. So see, the monochromatic and cool tones are subtle rather than these gradients. So you can choose that. You can also go to elements and search for dark texture or gaming background, reduce the opacity so it doesn't overpower the content. Let me show you how to do that rather than choosing a black background. So let's just go to elements and I'll search for gaming background. And I will go ahead with photos for this one. Maybe we can choose something like this. It looks very cool. And of course, we need to adjust it according to the canvas. That's it. And so that it does not affect whatever text we are going to put on this background, we have to adjust the transparency. So we can do that later on as well once we are done with putting up the content so that we know how much transparency we need to reduce. So the next step is adding the main headline. Now I go to text and I go to the heading. So this is my brand kit, which I have set up already over here. And this is my title font. Of course, it has to be centrally placed. So I am going to type new tournament this weekend. Okay. And of course, this is the most important part of your post. Of course, this is your heading. Now you have to style it. Since I've already opened my brand kit and selected the font already set from there, I don't need to change that. Otherwise, you have to use your heading font and make it bold and large and use brand colors like neon purple or electric blue. So in here, I'm going to make some advanced adjustments as well. I'm going to increase the letter spacing. Now this doesn't look cluttered and the font size can maybe, yeah, this looks better. All right, let's see about colors. So our brand colors also include black, white, electric blue, and neon purple. Over here, let's see if electric blue suits kind of works. Neon purple definitely not so much because it's getting merged out in the background. So we can either go ahead with electric blue or we can keep it white. Let's see how electric blue makes the entire post look. So you can also break this text into lines if needed to create a better visual impact. As you can see, by increasing the letter spacing, it's already broken down into two lines. So that's not needed. But make sure it's the first thing your eyes go to when you're viewing the entire post. Next step is building a visual hierarchy. Hierarchy means guiding the viewer's eye. So headline has to be the biggest, supporting text has to be smaller, and extra details have to be the smallest. Now I'm going to add a subtext so that could come in the subheading section. I'm going to call it register now and going to add that line tool, line symbol, which gives me a hard time finding it. I found it. All right. And limited slots. So this needs to, font size needs to change. Of course, it has to be smaller than the main headline, but not so small that it's not even clearly visible. I believe 36 is fine, but we are changing the color here. So I'll keep it white for now. This is fine. Now keep it smaller than the headline, but still visible. Like I just said, don't want it to disappear altogether by making it small. And of course, you can use Canva's guidance to make this align to the center of your canvas. Or maybe let's, yeah, I believe the text is larger. That's why aligning it centrally is a bit challenging. What we can do is maybe we need to make sure everything is aligned properly. So this works now. Now, you can also highlight keywords with a different color to make it pop and add a glow effect to the main text. This creates depth and focus. Let me show this to you. So, in this particular text, I'm going to highlight the limited slots part, and then I'm going to add effects. Hmm, maybe this won't work here. Going to add effect only the main headline. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, this looks somewhat catchy and gaming theme based. Limited slots is getting hidden. So let's just make it entirely white. So highlighting is pretty much not required, maybe. Now let's bring in our brand elements. So we can go to elements and add a controller icon, neon lines or glow shapes. So I have opened this document right beside in which I had saved a few elements, if you remember, recently. So this is the controller icon. These are neon lines, and we won't be needing grids necessarily because, as you can see, the background already has some kind of a honeycomb structure. So let's see what we can add from here. Maybe we can just copy this. I've just done Control C, no rocket science. Now, what we're going to do is Control plus V, of course, and we'll adjust the size. Let's see where we can place it and how we can style it. Again, I'm gonna duplicate this, make use of all the features from Canva. Let's do one thing. Let's break this into line. Yeah, that's better. So now I can play with this element in a better way, I believe. Let me just put this here as well. In this way, I am highlighting this weekend and subtly adding this element over here. We need not add any grid lines. Uh, we can add this gaming icon, or let's just search for a better controller icon, of course. Gaming, my bad. Control level, right? So let's we have to go to icons, but we search for graphics. So I believe yes, we're getting way better options now. There's a lot of neon purple happening, so let's choose neon blue here. Yeah, here we go. Now we have to make sure that we place these elements around the text and not over the text. Use them to support the design and not clutter it. You don't have to add a lot of elements or icons in your design. And keep the spacing clean. As you can see, I have maintained appropriate spacing throughout the text and the elements. Okay. Now let's make it look like a real brand post. We are going to add our logo. I believe this is the interesting part. So we need to group this, Control plus C. There's our logo. We let's ungroup this so that so making certain tweaks to the logo so that it does not disappear. I'm going to group this all again. Let's just locking the background so that it does not affect the other elements. Grouping this, and now I can resize it. So we can either place this logo at the top or at the bottom and add a CTA along with it. So the CTA has, which means call to action, of course, has to be things like join now or register today. So we need, I can add a button here that would make it look better. Button style shape would make it look more attractive. So let's maybe register. Gonna have a look at all the buttons and see which one suits the best according to our design. I believe this is good and it is clickable, looks very clickable, I believe. Now, let's see if we can do anything about the color here. Not really working. Works pretty fine, nevertheless. The logo is such it deserves center of attention. Maybe what we can do is I'll group this and I'll group this all. Now I'll resize this and place the logo centrally. I should put it on the top because it's getting mixed up with the post. So it has to be either the top or the bottom area. Centralize, pick up. Now let's work with the first we need to unlock this. And now we can work with the transparency. I believe this is fine. Now you need to zoom out and review your design. So this is like over zoomed out, but you can still check like if the headline is clearly visible or if the spacing is clean, and yes, it is. And are the colors consistent? Yes, the colors are consistent according to our brand. So you have to make small adjustments, just like I did, like aligning all the elements, balance out the spacing, and ensure nothing feels overcrowded. So this is our final design for an Instagram post. At this point, you now have your Instagram announcement post ready, designed using your complete brand kit and structured with proper visual hierarchy. Now that we've created an announcement post, let's move to something equally important, that's engagement posts. These are designed to start conversations and increase interaction. Unlike announcement posts, engagement posts are simple, question-based, and visually strong. The goal is to make people stop scrolling and respond. So the first step that we're going to do is instead of starting from scratch, we're going to duplicate the post that we just created. This keeps your design consistent and saves time. So what we will do is make a copy. Okay, and there it is. Now we're going to replace the headline with a simple question. Which game are you playing tonight? Let's do this. Of course, we'll adjust the size and everything. Which game are you playing tonight? You have to keep it short and conversational and remove unnecessary text because engagement posts work best when they're minimal, right? This is what I'm going to do. Let's ungroup, and these elements are not really needed here. Now let's shift our focus to the visuals. So we can add a gaming controller like it's already there and use a character silhouette or add glowing shapes. Increase the size slightly so the design feels more visual than text heavy and keep the background dark and consistent with your brand. Okay, so let's talk about adding all those elements. We first need to ungroup this and remove this. I believe we should remove the neon effect from this one. Hmm, let's play with, maybe let's just keep it simple this time since we want the users to focus on the text. We don't need this. The controller is fine. So I don't believe that we need to add more pictures to this one. Now we have to emphasize important words. For example, game and tonight can be in a different color than the color of the text, either neon blue or purple. So let's play with this. First of all, we are going to change the entire text color into white. And now I am going to highlight specific words in neon blue. Okay. And you can also add a glow effect and slightly increase font size for emphasis. So we are going to do that, definitely. Okay. This makes the post more dynamic, right? Now, optionally, you can add a small prompt like comment below and keep it subtle. Don't overpower the main question. Also include your logo in a corner for branding. So, we're going to make final adjustments and tweaks to this design. This is our game controller. And let's add a button. And I believe, no, this is getting merged. I'm going to just choose this one. Need to keep it subtle. And now let us adjust the size of our brand logo. And just like that, you have a clean, high engagement post ready. There's not much happening here, as you can see. Alternatively, what you can do is you can add two more just elements right here on either side of this game controller to make it slightly visual heavy. Now let's move on to one of the most powerful content formats on Instagram, which is carousel posts. A carousel is a set of multiple slides, and it's great for sharing tips, educating your audience, and increasing watch time and engagement. So to set up a carousel post, let's start by Instagram post. Going to choose square, and we have to click on add page to make this a carousel post. So we have multiple slides here. So we'll create three slides for this example. As you can see, one, two, and three pages. On the first slide, I'm going to add a strong hook, and this time let's search for some different gaming background that is not very overwhelming and yet works just fine. I believe this would do the trick. Okay, so I just, rather than adding this to each and every page, what I'll do is I'll just duplicate and add duplicate these pages. So now we have three pages with the same background. So now I'm going to add text with our chosen font, and that is going to be top three gaming tips. Of course, we need to increase the line spacing, not so much. This is fine. And since this is the only thing that's going to remain on our first page, so the text size has to be big. That works. And that's centrally aligned. So You have to use large text, neon highlights, and strong contrast. So let us add the neon thing here. So this is creating a good contrast. That's why I'm not changing the font color. This slide should make people want to swipe. Now on the second slide, which is this one, add your content. For example, so we first going to choose the text. So we can go ahead with the body font. So I'm going to increase the size, of course. So tip one, improve your aim with practice modes. And and tip two can be optimize your settings. So now we're going to increase the font size for the entire thing. Increase line spacing. I believe this works. So you have to keep it clean and make use of bullet points and maintain spacing and do not overload it with text. So as you can see, there's a simple bullet option here and I've used it. On the final slide now, let's move on. You have to add a call to action, and that is also going to be text. I'm not using any fancy text here so that it conveys the meaning properly. So I'm going to write follow for more gaming tips. And of course, I need to increase the font size. And along with this, so I'll just make this bold. Yeah. And now I'll add a subtle design element. So let me search for gaming elements here. So we're going to go ahead with graphics. Let's just type tech and I believe this looks good. And lastly, we need to add our logo. So alternatively, you can also add a strong closing visual instead of this element, whichever works the best according to your chosen background. The slide should guide users on what to do next, right? Quickly go through all the slides and ensure that colors are consistent throughout. Yes, my text is the same color. My background is the same, and I've emphasized the text wherever necessary. Fonts are uniform, yes, except for the heading, of course. Everything is the same. I believe we can change this to what if we, yes, so that the text remains consistent. We can make an exception for carousel posts and make it bold, of course, so that it appears like a heading. All right. The layout should feel connected, right? Each slide should feel like part of the same story. At this point, you now have one engagement post, one carousel post, and also the post that we created previously, that is a static post. So, along with your announcement post, you've created 2 to 3 Instagram ready designs using your brand kit, right? Now that we have created Instagram content, let's move to a slightly different platform, that is LinkedIn. Even though we're using the same brand, the way we design content here needs to change. On Instagram, content is bold, loud, and highly visual, right? But on LinkedIn, content is more professional, slightly minimal, and focused on storytelling and value. So we are not changing the brand, we're just adjusting how we present it. Now, let's go to the homepage, go on create, and select LinkedIn post. There we go. So square format also works perfectly fine over here. So you can also choose Instagram post format since both are square. We'll keep the same format but change the styling, right? So let's start with the background. Instead of heavy texture, we're going to keep it cleaner. Let's see if we have any neon backgrounds, if that's needed. Well, these are heavy textures. So let's just go ahead with the, let's say, electric blue. Instead of heavy textures, I've just used a clean black background. And you have to use a dark, you have to use dark but subtle backgrounds and avoid too many glowing elements. So maybe let's just use black. You can still use your brand colors, just tone them down slightly. All right. So if I had chosen this, maybe I would have gone for a darker version of this color. Of course, that changes the shade. So to stick more to our brand, let's just go ahead with black. Now add the main text. So since this is LinkedIn, we're not going to choose these fancy headlines and choose this Montserrat font. Now let's type in behind the scenes of building Shadow White Arena. Now, of course, we are going to change font size here. So we're going to keep it left aligned. We can change the alignment from here. Clean and easy to read. So, well, we can also choose our heading font over here. If I can see it's Cyber Junkies. So I'll just switch. But I have to make sure that they have to avoid excessive effects like glow or heavy shadows. So of course, I'm going to first of all increase the letter spacing and increase the text size, not so much, since it's all caps. Slightly here. So now enhance the design subtly. You can add a thin line or divider, use a minimal icon, and add soft gradient overlay. Also, definitely include your logo, keep it small and place neatly in a corner. So, what we're going to do is follow all of this step by step, which I just told. This has to be here. First, let's change the color. That's our brand. Now, let's add a gaming icon. So, as you can see, this one, it's gradient, but still looks minimal. And of course, we are going to add our logo. That wasn't grouped, so didn't get copied entirely. So I've chosen a grouped one. So we need to keep this uh, small and placed neatly in a corner. There we go. Margins. Okay. To make this feel more like LinkedIn content, you can add a small subtext like what it takes to build a gaming brand from scratch. So making space for subtext. What if takes to build a gaming brand from scratch. All right. So to keep it simple and no clutter, the focus here is clarity and storytelling and not heavy visuals. Always remember that because this is LinkedIn, not Instagram. Maybe just centrally align this. This one I'm going to align edge to edge. Of course, going to change the placement of things over here. Right. So now we are done with this post. So if you're someone who wants to get really comfortable with designing for different platforms like this, from Instagram to LinkedIn and beyond, I'd recommend checking out the specialization in Canva course on Coursera, created in association with Board Infinity. Let me just show it quickly to you. So this is the course. It covers structured real-world projects like this and helps you understand how to adapt designs for different use cases. And as you can see, it is divided into three courses, starting from beginner to intermediate to advanced. And of course, you can enroll for free. So I highly recommend you go ahead and check this course out. Okay. Now back to the design. You have to zoom out in this design and see, just review it. So check if it's clean and readable. Does it feel professional? And is branding still consistent? Make small alignment and spacing adjustments if required at all, which I did. At this point, you now have your LinkedIn post designed ready, adapted from the same brand, but tailored for a more professional audience, right? Now that we've created content for different platforms, let's talk about something that will save you a lot of time, cross-platform adaptation. All right. Instead of creating separate designs from scratch for every platform, you can reuse one design and adapt it. This is especially useful if you're managing multiple accounts, creating content regularly, or working as a freelancer. The goal is simple: create once and use everywhere. Let's take the Instagram post we created earlier. As you can see on the screen. All right. Now look at the top menu and click on resize. So you can see right here. Here you'll see multiple format options. So let's convert this into LinkedIn post and Facebook post. Let's search for LinkedIn post first and now search for Facebook post. So I have selected both. Now I have to click on copy and resize. Canva will automatically generate new versions of the same design in different sizes. So now I'm going to click on open designs. This one is the Facebook post, and this one is the LinkedIn post. So you'll notice once you go through each of these resized versions, you'll see that some elements may shift, spacing might feel off. So you need to make those quick adjustments like resizing the text, repositioning the elements, and improving alignment. So for LinkedIn, keep it cleaner and more structured. As you can see, there's not much of a difference for LinkedIn. Everything is aligned and well spaced. Just you can change the background and make it minimal. For example, I can just make it black and just change it to black completely. I don't need any fancy backgrounds here, just like we did previously. All right. Okay. And for Facebook, you can keep it slightly more visual and balanced. So in this case, you can keep it similar. You don't have to make much changes. You just need to add certain more visual elements. It's like this gaming controller right here. And of course, you need to adjust everything. So like I increase this and to make this quicker, okay, first of all, you really need to lock this. And now I'm going to select these, group them, and move them together on the canvas. You can also increase the size together. So you don't have to do much, is it? Right? You can now ungroup it and maybe, make this broader, suiting to the canvas size and align it accordingly, all of that. So these small tweaks make a big difference in your design, right? This is called content repurposing. One idea, but multiple formats. For example, announcement post for Instagram. So you use the same design on LinkedIn with slight tweaks. And same again with Facebook. So this way you save time, stay consistent, and increase your reach across platforms. The biggest advantage here is efficiency. Instead of designing three posts, you design one and adapt it smartly. At this point, you now have your content adapted into multiple platform formats, ready to be used across Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Now that we have created static content, let's move to one of the most in-demand formats right now, that is short form video. This includes Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and similar vertical content. Short form videos are powerful because they grab attention quickly, they have higher reach, and they're highly engaging. The best part is you can create them directly inside Canva. So let's start by going to our homepage. We already have the create a design option open. So what are we going to do is we're going to search for the mobile video format. There we go. So this is usually in the ratio of 9:16, and this is the standard vertical format used across Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook Reels. So always remember, vertical is the key here, right? So before adding anything, let's quickly plan the layout. Let me zoom into our canvas and maybe we can reduce size of this so we can see our canvas properly. So a good short form video usually has a strong hook at the top, main content in the center, and supporting text or CTA at the bottom. So keep enough spacing so nothing feels crowded. Now let's add a background. So you can use a dark gradient or search for gaming video background in elements. So now I go to gaming background and I can search for videos specifically from here. So I would want to choose something that is, not very out there. Let's search for the orientation as well. Let's keep it vertical so that while adjusting it onto the canvas, nothing gets lost. So let's see which one does not overwhelm the foreground. I believe absolutely avoid videos with text on them or I believe that this is better than this one, or maybe both work just fine. So you can make the call, of course, when you are designing. So for now, I am just going to delete this section. All right. So I have kept it subtle so that our text remains readable, of course. Now we're going to add our hook. So click on text and add the title. Of course, we choose our brand font because we need to maintain the brand identity. And the heading will say three gaming. Just a second, need to select it again. Three gaming setup tips. And now I increase the font size more. And of course, need to adjust the letter spacing. And now we have to make it bold, but this text is already bold and make it large. And it's positioned near the top. So now we have to make use of our brand colors to highlight keywords like three or tips. So let's highlight tips. And go to colors, and this is our electric blue. And oh, missed out on the S completely. Okay, of course we can add that neon effect to this, but I believe that this is completely unnecessary here. So now we have to just create multiple slides. So we need to duplicate this page. I am going to add multiple slides So for each slide, I'm going to add one tip. So in here, I'm going to add the body text, not the subheading text. And I really need to increase the font size. So the slide one will say use proper lighting for better focus. This will be placed centrally, and I would just fold it. Or maybe I can avoid the bolding so that it doesn't look like a heading. That's right. Now I move on to the next one, and again I add the body text. First, let me increase the size so that it's readable. Now the second slide will say optimize your monitor settings. And again, I'll place it centrally. Now, moving on to the third slide and increasing this to 72. Keep your setup clutter free. So that's our third tip, slightly centrally aligned. All right, so now you have to keep the text short and readable, and you can also add icons, subtle animations, and maintain consistent layout across all the slides, right? What we're going to do is we will reduce the duration of each slide. We don't want to keep it so long. I mean, while designing short form video content, you really need to keep these little things in mind. And see, since I'm moving the background, my foreground moves accordingly. We'll have to do it again. We can just do it all in the beginning so that it does not take so much time like it's taking for me to do it. So now, once this is done, now we have to enhance the video with overlays. So add small icons like a monitor or a controller and use glue elements sparingly and keep everything aligned with your brand kit. Make sure text is always easy to read. That's your priority. So now we can go to elements and let's search for animations since this is a video, gaming video brand. So in before that, let's just search for tech maybe. And in tech, I can go to, do we have the option of animations here? And that's maybe let's just go with graphics because so that's a monitor, but I need to use something that's too dark, not really standing out. That's hiding our background, basically getting merged with our background, I'd say. I would say that you really need not add many icons or things like that with this kind of a background. But if you need to do it at all, maybe you can just go ahead with things like these borders. And just adjusting it. We can make it like this so to suit the border that we've just added. So always make sure that the text is easy to read because that's your top priority. Similarly, you can add various elements to all the other slides. Now select your text and click on animate. So we're gonna do a quick animation brush up here. Now choose simple animations like fade, rise, or slide. So let's choose fade. Where's fade? Okay, let's make this. Okay. Avoid overly flashy effects and keep it smooth and clean. Okay, similarly, you can add animation to all the rest of your slides. Now, let's do a final check. We have to drag this cursor to 0 seconds right here and play the video and review for things like is the text readable, is the flow smooth, and does it feel engaging? And of course, you can add music. There's this add audio option, and you can add music to your video. Now let's see quickly how this is turning out. Of course, you have to time it perfectly so that everything appears and goes on time. This is just a very rough thing for you people so that you know the basics and can later on play with how to make things absolutely perfect with short form video content. So as far as text and the background and readability is concerned, everything is perfect. But of course, the timing of when the text appears and elements and everything that is messed up right now. So you can fix that while working. So at this point, you have your short form video structure ready, including the layout, text overlays, and multiple scenes for your reel or short. Now that we've structured our video, let's bring it to life using motion and animation in a better way. I just introduced this briefly to you, Avi, and now we are going to look at this in detail. So static content works, but motion grabs attention. In short form videos, animation is what keeps people watching. Even small movements can make a big difference in engagement. Let's start with text animation. So, as I did earlier, I clicked on the heading and then I went to animate and I saw multiple options right there. And I chose fade. So we have to choose something simple like fade, rise, or slide. And you can apply it and preview it. Then the key here is keeping it smooth and readable and avoiding overly flashy effects, just like I told you previously. Now apply similar animations to your tip text on each slide and try to stay consistent on all slides. You go here, click on animate, and let's choose rise for every text that is there because always remember consistency is important. Same with this one, quickly doing it. Next turn is to animate your elements. I haven't added any elements in this one, but you have to add them. Don't take them for granted. So you just have to click on icons or shapes that you've added, then go to animate again and apply subtle motion. For example, slight pop in for icons and gentle fade for background elements. So this adds depth without distractions. Now let's connect the slides. So you have to click on this plus sign or transition icon between the pages. And then you have to choose on transitions. Let me, yeah, do this now. Mm, see this plus size. Yeah, this is the add transition sign. So here in add transition, you need to choose transitions like dissolve or slide or fade. So let's choose dissolve. So keep your transitions quick and smooth and avoid anything too dramatic. The flow should feel natural. Similarly, you'll add transitions to all your other slides. Just look for the icon and do the thing. Now let's add the audio now, right? This is getting interesting now, right? Go to the audio tab, add audio tab here. Now, let's just search for gaming or electronic or beats. Let's see what we have in gaming. We can always preview it. I believe the one that we have chosen is pretty much okay. We need to put it from the start. And you have to pick something energetic but not overpowering. Always remember that. Then this has been added to your timeline just with one click. Then adjust the volume so it supports the video instead of distracting from it. You don't want this to, be like a music video or something. You just need that music to support your ongoing content. Now play your video and observe the timing. You have to make sure that text appears at the right moment, transitions feel smooth, and audio matches the pace. You can adjust duration of each slide if needed, just like I did briefly to give you a hint on how it is done. It is a slightly time-consuming process. That's why I am just giving you a sneak peek into the entire thing. As you can see, the music is not overpowering. The transitions are smooth. We can obviously reduce the duration of each slide. You can adjust the volume slightly to your background. And that's it. Now, the key takeaway here is simple. Motion increases engagement. Even basic animations can make your content feel more dynamic and professional. At this point, your video now has text, animations, transitions, and audio, making it fully engaging and ready for platforms like Reels or Shorts. Now that our video is fully designed and animated, the final step is to export it properly and get it ready for posting. Now let's export the video. Click on the share button right here on the top right, and then click on download. Now select the file type, MP4 video. It's suggested and it's already there. So make sure quality is set to high and all pages are selected for downloading. Then you have to click on download. So this will give you a high quality video ready for social media. Okay, now let's talk about length. For short form content, ideal range is 7 to 15 seconds. Maximum can go up to 30 seconds. Shorter videos usually perform better because they retain attention and increase replay value. So always keep your content crisp and focused. Now, once your video is ready, the next step is posting. So when uploading to platforms like Instagram or YouTube Shorts, add a caption that is short and engaging, gives context, or asks a question. For example, which setup tip are you using? Then add relevant hashtags like gaming setup, gamers, esports, gaming tips, and so on. So this helps your content reach the right audience. Before posting, quickly check your video quality, text readability, and audio clarity. Make sure everything looks clean and professional. So now at this point, you now have your short form video ready to post, complete with the design, animation, and optimized export settings. So you can also create a content calendar on Canva where you can schedule all the posts and different platforms that they're meant for according to the date. And I've explained everything in the Canva specialization course, so do check that out. Now that we've built everything step by step, let's quickly bring it all together and see what we've actually created in this complete workflow. So we started with defining the foundation of our brand. We didn't jump into design immediately. Instead, we first clarified the brand name, personality, target audience, and the overall mood. This gave direction to everything that followed. Then we moved into building the brand kit inside Canva, which is right here, our brand kit. And we created a primary logo, a consistent color palette, and defined a typography system and reusable design elements. You can add that to this graphics section. I haven't done that right now, but you can and you should. So this became our visual identity. Using that brand kit, we designed real content. We created announcement posts, engagement posts, carousel content, just like here, and all aligned with the same style and structure. Then we learned how to adapt one design across multiple platforms. Instead of creating new designs every time, we resized and adjusted layouts for Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook, saving both time and effort. And finally, we created a short form video. We covered layout planning, text overlays, animations, audio, and export settings, turning static ideas into dynamic content. With Canva, you can go from brand idea to social media content in less than an hour. That's the power of Canva. That is why I urge you strongly. This, this is why I urge you strongly to check this course out on Coursera. It is the Canva Essentials Specialization, and it contains the entire course divided into three parts, from beginning to intermediate to advanced level, all in very explained in very simple language. And you get to know how AI has empowered Canva, and this makes it so much more interesting and much more relevant to the current scenario that we are in. You can learn at your own pace, and you can join it for free. That is the biggest advantage right here. So do not forget to check this out. You just have to search for Canva Essential Specialization Coursera. You can simply Google it, or you can find the link in the description below, and you'll be a Canva expert in no time. Thank you so much for being a part of this project with me today, and I hope you learned something meaningful out of it. Thank you so much once again.